Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Enterprise Confessional. So today, this is going to be a cliffhanger episode. So I decided that I wanted to implement these because these are more so just going to be 8 to 10 minutes roughly. Not too long, not too much storytelling, just more so strategy focused. And I feel like you guys would be able to take away a lot from today's episode because this is going to be more so along the lines of me talking about brand messaging. So, for any of y'all who are new to my channel, if you're new to me, this is your first time listening in. I am Deshay. I am a brand developer. And so, a lot of people refer to themselves as brand strategists. However, y'all know me. Y'all know how I do. The ones that know. I can't never just call myself nothing basic because there's nothing basic about what I do in any realm. I decided to coin the name brand developer for what it is that I specialize in is because this is a 90-day journey, aka 1 quarter, aka 12 weeks, where I actually work hands on with all of my clients that I retain. And so, most brand strategists, they just, do a logo or they'll just give like a basic brand strategy. My way is a lot different and it's totally tailored. And I have a lot of fun. And I'm just in a season where I'm encouraging more people to bring the fun back into business. Yes, business is serious. Yes, it is a big deal. But at the same time, let's make it fun again. And so let's just bring back the fun and creating and doing this thing together. So here's the hard truth. If your brand messaging isn't clear, you're not just confusing the people, y'all. Y'all are losing them left and right. This year alone, I have probably talked to double business owners, double the creators, and double the freelancers that I talked to last year. And obviously, this means consultations, workshops, various things that I do in my own streams of marketing. Y'all are losing the people. Y'all are losing the people. And when I go and I look at these things, I'm doing social media audits and I'm even like, just testing you, just having a conversation with you, you're losing me. And so I know if you're losing me, you're losing your customers and you're losing your audience. So I basically want to get into all of this episode because I feel like you guys are not understanding the gravity of the situation with what's going on now in the world. And we are in a space where it's either you innovate or you get left behind. There's no space at this point for you to have lack of clarity in your content. You simply will go bankrupt and you will become broke. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your business. I don't want anybody to experience those levels of setbacks that I'm talking about. And please know and understand everything that I talk to y'all about, babe. Please know that I have actually been through that before. I have experienced so many flops, so many different failures over my career that this is one of the reasons why I decided to start this podcast. Because I'm not only teaching you from a logical standpoint, I'm also teaching you from experience. In this episode too, I'm just really getting into the meat of the conversations and how your authority can lag because of the lack of clarity in what it is that you're saying in your messaging. So this is what lack of clarity looks like. And I'm just going to give you this first example. Websites, social media feeds, full of generic buzzwords like luxury, professional, high quality. But what does it actually mean to you? When you call yourself luxury, professional, or high quality, we really need to see that demonstrated in your messaging and in your visuals. I think a lot of people have, hopped on this bandwagon of, oh, I want to create a luxury brand. Okay, cool. But please let's not forget that there's multiple ways that we can exude luxury experiences. We can exude professionalism and we can exude high quality. There's so many different nuances to it. And the first thing that I'm always going to talk about before I get into visuals is your messaging, your copywriting. A lot of people are relying only on Chat GPT to basically create content for them. But this is the part, y'all. ChatGPT can only give back to you what you put in it. So if you don't know how to train your ChatGPT based off of the luxury brand voice that actually sounds like something that you would say in person, it's going to give you generic responses and your copywriting is not going to match. And again, I just want to touch on the importance of meshing the visuals with the messaging as well. And it needs to actually match. So, all in all, I just want to say trying to basically portray yourself as luxury, but you're not actually creating a branded luxury experience is why a lot of people are having trouble with converting these said luxury clients that they want to convert. And what it is that I do, I make sure that before all else, I'm actually able to provide that level of experience that I'm advertising. Because this is where a lot of people have been having, less than pleasant experiences. And granted, this is not an episode to bash or, tear anyone down. It's just, it is what it is. And, we learn from the mistakes. But I just want you guys to know when you are marketing this particular word or you're saying, oh, I have a luxury brand, it really, really needs to embody that. And it shouldn't be any confusion around it. Again, this is about the clarity, crystal clear in what luxury means to you and what it looks like through your product or service. The second example that I wanted to talk to you about is trying to serve everyone instead of someone. Okay? Y'all, I have this conversation over and over and over again. I have been teaching about this same thing for years, I know. Just because you think you are trying to cast a net to everyone, it does not mean that you're actually going to be successful at that. And majority of the time, you're usually not. You end up casting the net to everybody and you end up picking up no one. Reason being is because strategy is built out around said person you're trying to attract. I just want you to literally close your eyes and visualize this for me. Let's use a fish for example, right? Say we are in a fish tank, and this y'all are gonna be laughing at this. Oh my god! So basically, this is how I teach it. For you to get it. There are so many different fish in the sea in this little tank, rather, right? And so here you decide to cast your net inside of this tank, right? And there's this one fish that you're trying to go after. But your net needs to be tailored to that specific fish. Okay? I hope y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. Basically, what's going to happen is when you have this net that's tailored to this fish, your odds of attracting said fish is going to be so much higher because you have tailored the net to be able to attract this fish. Now, say I'm saying, okay, I want to attract that particular fish. It's a goldfish. And the net that I'm casting out is not one that's going to allow the fish to magnetize to that net. Y'all feel me? So this is what happens when you try to go out and you're saying, I'm trying to serve everyone instead of someone. It's so difficult for you to be able to do that because strategy is built off of this ideal client persona field. And of course, y'all would have to get on a call with me for me to break this all the way down because remember, we're on a time constraint for this episode. But it becomes so much easier, and actually, you end up making more revenue in your company when you are laser focused on attracting this one fish. And in one of my master classes that I have is talk about how when you cast a net, right, you're still going to pick up other fish that may fit within that realm of the strategy that you threw out, right? But the whole goal, the whole reason why you were able to even create the content pillars, like so, you were able to do those particular marketing strategies to get that sale is because you had that fish that you basically created strategy around. The net that you're casting is totally representative of strategy, point blank, period. And I just want you to make sure that you're taking note of that, because this is the number one reason that I see so many people are struggling in what it is that they are doing now, whether they're a freelancer, small business owner, whatever have you. A lot of people are having trouble with this concept because to the human, I guess, psyche is what it is. You know, when you're not in this field for a long period of time and you haven't been trained on these things, you assumed, hey, well, if I cater to multiple people and, you know, Sue, Mom, Jack, John, all these people, you know, I'm going to make more sales. And it's totally opposite. The third example that I want to give you is overly long captions, complicated offers or services that just don't connect back to a core message. Now, I want to go back and retouch on this. The long captions posts, like, I feel like those are great if you're actually storytelling. So, you know, kind of discern on that. But complicated offers, 10 out of 10, I don't recommend. You know, the more and more that I evolve on my journey, the more and more I appreciate things being simplified. You know, I've gotten to a point now where I really only have one offer that I'm pushing. And reason being is because when people have too many choices, it takes them longer to convert and it takes them longer to actually book. You know what I'm saying? And so I recommend this to my clients as well who have services. I'm just like, if it's too difficult for someone to understand why they need it, it's not going to make a sale. So, this is why I want to go into why it costs you. It costs you lost conversions. So, that means people are going to scroll away when they can't get what you're saying instantly. It also causes a damaged perception sometimes, which can lead into confusion and lack of trust, diluted authority. So, that means if your message is unclear, people assume that you're unclear in your business too. And so the solution here is to boil your messaging down to this. Who do you serve? Point blank, period. Who do you serve? The transformation you provide and why you're different. So I just want you to drop in your strategy in a 10-second rule. People should know within 10 seconds why you're the right choice. That's it. I don't want y'all to overcomplicate what I said. I said what I said. In 10 seconds, if they can't recognize why they need to work with you, you've already lost them. So here's the question that I want to leave you today on today's cliffhanger. If you looked at your brand right now, would somebody convert in 10 seconds? You know, I think a lot of times we are so stuck in this mindset that, you know, we want to sell what we want to sell because we enjoy it. But at the end of the day, a business is for you to make revenue. So if I looked at your brand right now or your page, your website, would I know in 10 seconds, would I choose you or would I keep scrolling? So this is the cost of clarity. And I want you to understand this. It's a work that you cannot afford to skip at this point, especially not now in 2025. We're literally going into 2026. It is already Q4. This year has literally flown by. I also want to take this time to let you guys know that if you need this hands-on help, I am placing a link with a one-time code that you are more than welcome to use to get the hands-on help. This is the first opportunity that any of you will have for Q4 to work with me before all my spots are taken. I really want y'all to go into Q4 as your best self, and not only just yourself, your brand, your company, what it is that you're building. Understand that everybody has a purpose in what it is that they do. I don't care if you're a service provider, product owner, if you are a life coach, whoever you are put here to serve in your way, in your capacity. So, my hope for you today is that you actually implement this cliffhanger, and I will see y'all on the next episode. Bye, y'all.